This is problem 8-72 from section 8.2.1. If f of x equals x squared plus 7x minus 9, calculate the values in part A through C below. Part A should be pretty easy to plug that in. I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to go to the new things with the i's, the imaginary numbers. Okay, so make sure you do part A. Just make sure you squared a negative properly in your calculator. So we're going to skip to part B here. So I'm going to plug in, I'm going to replace x with I instead. Now I is not just a different variable, it's a special variable. So I'm going to have I squared plus 7 times I minus 9. Now, in the other, a couple problems and what we learned today in class is the square root of -1 is worth I. Okay? So if I squared both of these, right, I'd really have -1 equals I squared. Okay? Just a square root times a square root kind of cancels out each other. So this first thing right here is really worth -1 plus 7I. I'm going to leave it with like that. If it's an even power of the I, then we can most likely rewrite it in a simpler form. With an odd number, we're going to end up having an I still in our answer. So that's just something to think about. So now I'm going to combine my like terms. -10 plus 7I. And that's as much as we get. So that means I have an imaginary solution. For part C, we're going to plug in -3 plus I for x. So this one's going to be a little bit more tricky. So I have -3 plus I, that was the x squared, so I'm going to square that. Then it said plus 7 times x, so plus 7 times -3 plus I. Last said minus 9. So I'm going to actually multiply this out. Now this squared is not simply -3 squared plus I squared. There's another term in the middle, so you can't forget that. So I'm going to have actually -6I when I have the middle terms plus I squared. Okay, so that's just this first thing right here. Then I'm going to distribute my 7, so I have -21 plus 7I minus 9. So I'm going to combine my terms here. So -9, +9 are gone. I have a +7I and a -6I, which leaves me 1I. I have an I squared, and I really have -21. Now we know that this I squared, we said square root of -1 equals I, and I squared both of them. That really gives me -1 is what I squared is worth. So I'm going to replace that with -1. Okay? So I'm really going to have, for my answer, I have -22 minus, or plus, an I. Plus the imaginary number right there. Okay? So be careful, first of all, when you're multiplying this stuff squared, that you do that properly. And then you're changing the I squareds into a -1. Simplify that as much as possible. Okay?